Hello and welcome to After Sound Review, and this time I will review this Dunu SA6, which is right now I guess it's a little bit on heat, and I can see why that the frequency response that I see on the website, I mean on some webs, are really good. So yeah, this Dunu SA6 is using 6 balance armature per side as its configuration. And just like usual, I will review them based on the build, fit, frequency response, sound, and comparison. Okay, let's just get to the build. For me, this IM is really good looking. I mean, take a look at them. They just really looks really good. It is all made of acrylic, but it doesn't feel empty inside, so it just feels full. And it's using this kind of orange and purple pattern on it with Dunu logo and also the 6 logo. I don't know why, but I like this kind of artistic choice. And then the nozzle itself is all using acrylic, and you can see through this shell, actually this smoky grayish shell, that definitely you can count there are 6 balance armature inside. And then you get also this switch that is supposed to be change the bass a little bit, and also they are using 2-pin connectors, and this is their cable, which is quite really cool looking, but it's on the springy side. It's not really flexible. You can take a look at it. It's quite springy and a little bit microphonic, I should say. But I really love this kind of interchangeable jack. Just take a look at this, and fortunately I get some of choice here that you can change. Take a look at this. You just need to pull this part a bit and then just grab it, and like that you can change the jack 4.4mm or 2.5, or the single-ended 3.5mm. So it's all really easy to change the connectors. And then when it comes to fitting, for me who have small Asian ears, they are really good, really ergonomics, and I could wear them for hours without any discomfort in the shell area. But if I should say there's one thing that give a little discomfort for my ears, which is the cable. Like I said, it's a little bit on the stiffer and springy side, which I don't really like, but nevertheless it doesn't really bother me. Okay, and then when it comes to the sound, I will use my i5 XDSD, QLX 5K, and also iBasso DX160 as my source, and here's my playlist. I could simply categorize the sound signature of this Dunu SA6 as balanced, because it doesn't have any major peaks or dips that makes the sound strange. It just sounds balanced from up to bottom. You see that there's an elevation in the bass area, but not too much, and also upper mid-range area it get the smoothing around the 6 kHz dips, and then there's more elevation in the treble area. But yeah, for me up to bottom it is really a good frequency response. It's a really good balance. And when I compare them with this, oh wait a minute, I need to show you that the switch on the Dunu SA6 actually only give a little bit of bass in the frequency response. And honestly, when I when I turn on the switch, it doesn't really change the whole sound. It just gives a little bit more body to the bass. It doesn't really change the overall sound signature of this Dunu SA6. And when I compare them with this Tantrum Oxygen, which is somehow considered as harmonish IM, for me this Tantrum Oxygen has more upper mid-range range that might sound a little bit more shouty for some people, and also it has more treble rolled off rather than the Dunu SA6. It just gives smoothing in the 6K area, and there's also elevation after that, and that's also what happens similarly with this Moondrop S8. Moondrop S8 is definitely have more upper mid-range range, and after that, yeah, you can see that the Dunu SA6 has this smoothing around 6K that somehow definitely gives smooth sound to the SA6, more smooth than the S8. Okay, so the tonality itself for me is just done right. You get this bass punch, you get this smooth and silky mid-range without being too thin nor too thin. It's just really balanced. Also, you get some treble detail even though it's not piercing. It's really one heck of a good tonality. Okay, start from the bass. This is for all balanced armature IM. This is quite a punchy balanced armature. The bass is punchy. It have quite some body to the low notes, and also it is thumping, although it doesn't have this kind of bass punch that you might expect from dynamic driver. So you just don't get this. You just get this. You just get a really good punch, but not that kind of bouncy sub bass texture that you might hear from a dynamic driver. But hey, this is a balanced armature, and for balanced armature driver IMs, this is good. And also the mid-range, I should say that this might be one of the star points from the Dunu SA6 because of how correct it is. I feel it's not overly warm or overly cold. It's just not too thin nor too thick, but no matter what kind of vocal I throw at it, for me the vocal is just sounds really good and natural. So female vocal like Joyce Chu, like Aimer, like Blackpink, like Taeyeon, or like even Adele or Lady Gaga, even Ariana Grande never sounds shouty or never sounds too thin. They are just really good. And also male vocals from Ed Sheeran to Il Divo, even Josh Groban, and maybe some K-pop vocals, they just sound really good and natural without any pickiness, without any sibilance at the vocal. It's just done correctly. And when it comes to the treble, for me it doesn't have this edge that you might expect from violin or some, you know, some treble sparkles from cymbal crash, but you get this kind of sparkle that just enough to make it not really dark or something like that. It's just really a balanced treble without any sharp edges for me. But if you like your treble to be really cutthroat, maybe like the Noble Katana or maybe the Vinyl Audio A4000 or A8000, you just won't get there. Here it's just a really smooth treble. And when it comes to the, so for me the tonality is just gold. It's just really good. But the technical level for me at this price point, I mean at 500 bucks, it just doesn't really perform as the best. It's just maybe just average or maybe below average. The separation level, I expect much more at this price level, but it doesn't have really this kind of separation level that I could expect at 500 bucks. It's just when I play songs, difficult songs, you know, like Kenshi Yonezu, or even some songs from the you know, soundtrack from the Lord of the Rings, or maybe from soundtracks from Pirates of Caribbean, you know, orchestral soundtracks that has a lot of elements in it. I don't really get that sense of very separated feeling from them. They are just really done correctly in the tonal area. And also the soundstage, I should say, it is quite big, but it's more to your left and right. You don't really get this 3D-ness from it. It's just quite airy and quite expansive, but you just don't really get this depth that I expect from such a 3D IM. So for me, the tonality is what makes them really good. So how is it compared to this Moondrop S8 and also this 4acoustic Stage Tone 4 Plus? I should say that the Stage Tone 4 Plus is priced at around 300 bucks, and this is at 500 bucks, and the Moondrop S8 is at 700 bucks, so 200 bucks different here. But honestly speaking, when it comes to technicality, for me this 4acoustic 4P or 4acoustic Symphony has the same level of separation and technicality to the Moondrop Blessing 2, which is also priced at 300 bucks. And for me, from hearing this 4 Plus to this Dunu SA6, I don't get that price jump at the technicalities. You know, the $200 difference, I don't really feel that they are on the different level in terms of technicality. But when I play this Dunu SA6 and I change them to the Moondrop S8, I definitely feel there is a jump in technicalities. So yeah, for me, that's why I say that the Dunu SA6, even though I love the tonality, I should say that the technicalities is not on what I expected to be at this price point. Nevertheless, it's still good. And when it comes to tonality, the 4acoustic stage tone 4 Plus is just a little bit more thinner and a little bit more energetic, a little bit more sparkly, I should say. But I definitely could say that I bet that a lot of people will find that this Dunu, even though they are not sharp or anything like that, I still find that Dunu SA6 is more natural and true to life in terms of tonality. And also when it comes to tonality gain, the Moondrop S8, I should say that even though I love them so much, I must agree that there are some kind of shoutiness at the upper mid-range, so it's not really as smooth, as rich, as meaty, as organic as the SA6. The S8, even though the bass is more deep, it is more controlled, it is feels like more high quality, and the vocal is more clear and more separated, I just feels that the separation level and technical level on S8 is definitely better than the SA6, but the tonality is thinner and definitely more shoutier in this Moondrop S8. So even though I love my S8 so much, I could say that it is easier to suggest Dunu SA6 to people because of how right they are. They just sound right for me. They don't have any really obvious weak points. They are just tuned correctly, they are done correctly. The technical level, even though it's not on its price point level for me, but it's not bad either. I can live with that. I mean, even if I have them, so they are just done correctly. So kudos for Dunu. This Dunu SA6 definitely is a really good IM. So I think that's all from me. If you have any question, please write down in the comments below. And that's all. See you next time. Bye bye.